All right, today we are gonna do the weed industry, one of my favorites actually. So we're gonna do what we always do, right? We got the daily and the weekly charts. We have 5 moving averages, a few horizontal support and resistance lines that I do manually draw, and then once we're done up here, we'll use the MACD and the RSI as our lower indicators for confirmation. Hey, real quick, if you haven't already, check out the website chartreaders.com. You can see all my videos in a nice little format, and then if you scroll to the bottom, there is a free weekly email. All you got to do is put your email address. I don't even care about your name, let alone any credit card, any silly things like that. So we're going to do what we always do, right? We're going to start with the big boy and work our way through. It was a really, really interesting morning today. I'm actually going to go back to talk to this and just talk with the whole, like, what is this now, 2-week window, right? But this morning, I just really want to talk about the morning. You can see it on this wick right here too. It started really high and made a pretty hard slam down. When I woke up, I'll be honest, when I woke up, it was around up here. I thought it was gonna make a break of the 100, and I mean, I was getting ready to maybe make a move on this thing, right? Clearly, it failed, and I mean, you know, it's why technical analysis is important, and really why I repeat so many things, right? Look. There's a cluster right here. I keep talking. What's a cluster? 1, 2, 3, 4 moving average lines. I have 5 total, right? So I mean, literally, it's more than 2 or 3 really becomes a cluster. And I know 2 doesn't sound like one, but I promise you it is, right? Because all of these are really hard to break individually. As you add more, it just becomes that much harder, right? You're like literally putting another layer of roof, and you're not going to get through that into the blue skies, right? So it's that much harder. But look, this is a really common thing that happens. Sometimes you make an attempt up, you'll fail down, bounce on one of these, and hopefully on that second one go up. And it kind of looked like that's what was about to happen, right? We make a real big one-day move, a real hard 3-day downtrend, what looks like a uptrend forming, and then it just couldn't do it, right? And that's not good, because normally if you can't do this, you generally do this, right? So, and these hammers, again, I don't talk about candle shapes too much, but it definitely means something, right? When someone bought up here, people thought it was going to go, and then boom, it ends here. Same thing here, right? Someone bought up here, and we're all the way down here, right? So again, it's not good to see wicks. You generally want to see a full candle up, full candle down, full candle up, like very little indecision. It was either a good day or a bad day, right? You don't want to get fooled out, right? So very bad. But nonetheless, what's happening right now? Look, we're trading in a pretty tight horizontal cluster. And I always say it, you generally trade horizontally until you either break up or you break down. You'll see this across so many of my videos, right? So right now, expect this 4 clusters to really be the horizontal. And look, the bottom 20 and the top 100 is pretty much we're going to go through until we either break up or break down. Literally how to repeat it because it's that important, right? Look at the weekly. So the weekly doesn't look fantastic, right? Obviously a pretty hard downtrend overall. And you can see all it's really doing is staying under the 20, not only the 8, right? There was a decent attempt to try to break the 8, but again, we're at Thursday, tomorrow's Friday. Does not look like this 20 is going to break. And look, we've now made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost, we'll call that 5.5, 6 attempts on the weekly to break that 20, and it still hasn't happened. Like, just no matter how much we've chiseled, it hasn't gone through, right? So TLRY is the big boy in this sector, and I imagine the rest are going to follow. Look, overall, I would stay away from this because if you've seen enough of my videos, I like to trade a little safer, right? For me, I'm going to zoom out a lot, and I apologize. I would rather break this 100 and try to make my way up to the 200, which is just, again, one line in all that gap, versus trying to break this one, then this one, then this one, then coming back down here, then down here, then down here. Like, this is just really uncomfortable trading. And honestly, if the 20 is lost, it's downhill quickly, right? So I've been overall pessimistic across the markets. I'm kind of still pessimistic on individual stocks too. So not a hater, just a realist, I guess, right? So overall, yeah, nothing positive on Tilly, and honestly, I would expect it to actually lose the 20 eventually. So just trade safely here. ACB. So again, ACB, not quite the same chart. And again, ACB's really been lagging on the other ones, right? That monster Thursday day we saw on Tilray was essentially nothing on this one. And again, you can just see this thing can't get over the 20 for the life of it over the last, I mean, pretty much month, right? From the 19th to the 19th, give or take. So yeah, very, very ugly daily chart here. Have to expect the weekly to look horrible. Look at that, right? I mean, there was a moment when it was with the 8, excuse me, kind of trying to get over the 20 maybe, but yeah, clearly not even close to the 8, right? So bad weekly chart means a whole mess of bad days, and that's pretty much what we've seen, like I said, this entire month, right? So I would very much stay away from this. The only time I would touch this is if we get over the 20. Even if we get another day over the 8, because again, we are technically over the 8 right now, and I know that generally means good things, but look, it really means nothing till we get over the 20. And hey, there's a decent gap here, right? Obviously, this is a cluster that'll be hard to break, but this could be an interesting trade with only really one line in between, right? So, but yeah, I would very much stay away from ACB. MSOS. Okay, check out this chart. Look, this is a pretty healthy chart, and this is actually exactly what I was saying on Tilray, right? This is what tends to happen. You'll get your pop, you'll get your drop, hopefully you bounce on a line, and look, this one's still trying to go up, right? MSOS also had the best follow day on the Friday after the pop, right? MSOS, this is a good looking chart. We're coming up on not a tight cluster, but definitely 2 lines right here, each of which could be a rejection point. I would very much stress just wait until the 100 plays out before you put your money here, but this is a much, much better chart than Tilray, and that for sure should be noted, right? There's a couple lines I can definitely make. Let me just make this one right here as our bottom point. And then I'll also use, I'm going to use this one. They're not that far off, and I think I'd want a little earlier indicator. I was going to use this one right here. I went with this one instead right here. So, yeah, look, again, if the RSI and the MACD aren't that bad. We have green over red on both. Neither's fantastic, but nonetheless, decent uptrend going 1, 2, 3, 4 days over the 20, 2 days over the 8. But again, this is a rejection point, this red line. This is a rejection point, the blue line, right? The 2 moving averages. However, if we can get over it, that's some sexy trading right there, right? So keep an eye on this one for sure. Nothing better than slow and steady. I promise you that. Weekly doesn't look fantastic. Obviously can't get over the 20. Definitely made better attempts at the 20 than Tilray though, right? So again, just this is why we do the sector reviews. It's good to see a few of them because look, I don't have an infinite amount of money, right? I can't put money in all of these stocks because then I'm going to dry myself too thin, right? So you look for the good ones, you attack, and hopefully you make yourself some nice percentages, right? But MSOS actually looks like the best on the list so far. HEXO. Damn. Look, nothing looks good on this daily, right? Definitely the same up and down, and really not even an attempt at going up, right? The 20, we're trading well under it. Definitely using my 17-cent line. I've got one person that I chat with a lot on YouTube, and I do look at HEXO a lot. I'm actually going to look at my phone real quick to get 4 decimals for you guys instead of just the 2 that you see here. But look, I've said it a bunch of times. We've now used this 17-cent line. Oh my gosh, look, since, I'm going to zoom out. Since, what day is this? Since September 22nd, okay, basically a month, we've used it once, twice, 3 times. Another one right here, 4 times, good bounce. Basically, I'm going to say 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times already in a month to not fall. We bounced twice. these aren't bouncing, right? And when you're not bouncing, it makes me feel like it's gonna get lost, right? So give me a second. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm going into another program real quick to get you 4 decimals, because like I said, I do not trade my money on this thing. Um, this is the line. Okay, if we go below 1720, and we're actually below 1720, we're at 1712. If we lose 1720 tomorrow, I could really see us losing this 17 cent line. And let me go to the weekly real quick. What happens after 17 cents? Oh, we got nothing down there. Yeah, from there, I mean, look, honestly, it can just drop as much as it wants, right? So, um, yeah, I get that there's a little bit of green over red here, but look, HEXO is not looking good. It's under 1720. Like I said, I got 4 decimals somewhere else, and we've used this line 10 times in roughly, what, like 30 trading days, like a third of it. I mean, there's only so much a support line can do before it breaks, right? You can only support so much weight, and Hexo's putting a lot of weight on that 17 cent line that looks like it's about to go away. Trade safely, trade safely. Look at this. This is also pretty sad, right? Again, we never saw a real bounce. And if that doesn't happen, this tends to happen to go down, right? And a little bit of why I thought TLRY just was going to also lose that the cluster horizontal that it's in. All the rest of these stocks are going down. Generally, all these stocks do the same thing together, right? So when one goes down, the rest tend to follow, unless everything else is so strong it can pull it up, right? And I just feel all of them are so bad, it's going to pull down anything good. You know what I mean? So again, I promise I am not a hater of any of these. I'm just being realistic, right? So not too much detail to talk about. Trading under the 8, basically struggling to get over this 244, nowhere near the 20. I mean, we already did, right? But we've lost the 244, and we're pretty much on our way down at 219, and I don't know if there's anything lower than that, right? So yeah, just be careful here. Look at that. Just can't get over the 20. 1 attempt, 2 attempts, so many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty much like Hexa. I mean, like TLRY. So many attempts on the weekly, and then just ultimately fails it, right? So, man, I'm telling you, these lines are powerful if you know what to do with them. If you watch these enough, and I promise you, it'll become second nature to you. So. Again, look, pretty much the same story. A little bit more of a cluster, I would say. You can almost even argue the cluster was back here, and it's doing the drive down, right? Little bit of a save, little bit of a maybe pop, but again, we're pretty much under this 222 line. Let me go on the weekly to see if we have any lines lower. We do. Actually, almost made an attempt at that 190 a couple days. Yeah, was that last week? Sorry, we're on the weekly, right? So. 190 kind of looks realistic here. Sandal, man, you need a little meme power for sure. Like, look, again, same thing with TLRY today. I wasn't looking at this one in the morning, but you can see the same thing. Opened above my line, above the 20, and then just a real hard slam down, right? So a lot of people lost some good money today. They lost at least 10%, even though it looks like a 0 day, right? Even though it looks like a green candle. There are people that lost some good money today on Sandal, and I hope it wasn't you, because again, you know we couldn't break this 20. You know, we were working our way down. I hope it wasn't you, right? And even we don't care about the first day over the 20. We care about the second and the third day, right? We don't buy the pop, we buy the continuation. That's why I hope you're watching these videos, right? Like we're not here for one day. We're here to swing multiple days, right? CRON, check out CRON. Pretty much trying to do what TLRY and MSO did, right? Pop up, pop down. Wasn't a moving average, but I will say my 260 line roughly was an attempt at a bounce point. And then again, we've seen this 150 cluster, right? These two colored lines, we've seen them together on a couple charts, and it definitely was a fail point here, right? We're probably going to just be moving in this little horizontal cluster. And again, I would kind of guess that this drops like the rest of them, right? Weekly is not looking good at all, right? So if your weekly is bad, you're going to have some bad days. Again, I see it peaking up. I see it peaking up. Overall, we're well under the 8, right? And I always say more work happens up here than down here. So not looking great for CRON. And then last on the list, I thought I saw this guy make a little bit of a move. Green lane. Okay, hey, look, this actually isn't, okay, again, like MSOS, this one didn't crash that hard on Friday. Obviously an ugly gap down Monday, right? But from there, not too bad a slow and steady climb up. Again, it broke the 20. It did, right? So this first day it broke. This might have been considered confirmation for some, but look, it should not have, because look how undecisive it was. Someone thought and bought up here, someone thought and bought down here, basically stayed right here. This is a doji. This is the only candle shape you really hear me talking about, and a doji means uncertainty. You can't have confirmation and uncertainty. That's an oxymoron right there, right? So this for sure was not confirmation. Clearly that was, right? So again, I know it sounds like a fine little nuance, but again, if you watch these videos enough, you'll hear me repeat enough of this stuff, and hopefully it just sits in your back pocket of knowledge, and then boom, hopefully either makes or save you some good money on a future trade. So man, I can't appreciate all the time, all the views on these videos. It's crazy, you know what I mean? So I sincerely appreciate your time. I really hope you're learning. If you subscribe, it'll make me a little happier, but nonetheless, I just really hope you're learning. So trade safely out there.